Welcome beyond the veil. You are listening to Moonlight and Ironwood. If you want to skip the wait and download the full audiobook right now, the link is in the description. Now, take a deep breath. The mist is rising. I shoved through the locker room doors, intending to hide in the showers until the bell rang, but I didn't make it. A hand shot out and grabbed my arm, spinning me around. I gasped, expecting Chloe looking for revenge. It was Aiden. He had followed me. He cornered me against the row of gray lockers, his large frame blocking my escape. He smelled overwhelming. Rain and pine and power, and the blockers on my skin felt suddenly useless against the proximity. Aiden, I breathed, pressing my back against the metal. This is the girls' locker room. You can't. You lied. He cut me off. His voice was low, a rumble that I felt in my chest. I didn't. I tried to feign ignorance. It was just a lucky... He slammed his hand against the locker next to my head. I flinched. Don't, he growled. His gray eyes were storming, swirling with suspicion. I saw that catch, Journey. I saw you move. No dormant wolf moves like that. That was a shift reflex. He leaned in closer, invading my personal space. His nose brushed against my neck, inhaling deeply. I trembled, my knees going weak. Why are you lying to the alpha? He whispered, his voice dropping to a dangerous softness. Why are you pretending to be weak? I'm not pretending, I whispered back, my voice shaking. I'm just Journey. He pulled back slightly, looking at my face. He was searching for something. A scent? A sign? You smell like fake vanilla, he muttered, frustration evident in his tone. But underneath it, there's something else. Something I can't place. He stepped back, releasing me from his cage. I'm watching you, Journey, he warned. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm going to figure it out. He turned and stormed out of the locker room, leaving me sliding down the cold metal lockers, gasping for air as my wolf howled in despair. Chapter 4. The Uninvited. Nia found me 5 minutes later, still sitting on the floor of the locker room. She took one look at my face and locked the door. He knows, I said, my voice hollow. He doesn't know what I am, but he knows I'm not normal. Okay, Nia said, exhaling a long breath. Okay, that's not great. But he didn't drag you to his father? He didn't expose you? No, he just said he's watching me. Then we have to be boring, Nia decided, pulling me to my feet. For the next 3 days, you are the most boring person in existence. You go to class, you go home, you stare at walls. Give him nothing to see. It was a solid plan. It would have worked, too, if my life belonged to me. But it didn't. It belonged to the Ironwood Pack. The solstice ball was mandatory. For 2 days, I managed to avoid Aiden. I walked the long way to classes, ate lunch in the library, and kept my head down. But his gaze felt like a physical weight. I'd feel it on the back of my neck in the cafeteria, or see his dark car idling near the student exit when I left. He was hunting for the truth. Saturday arrived with a gray, overcast sky that promised snow. The house was in chaos. Journey! Don't tell me you're still in those sweatpants. Jackie burst into my room without knocking. She was already half ready, her hair set in curlers, wearing a silk robe that cost more than my entire wardrobe. I'm not going, I said from my bed, where I was buried under a quilt. I have cramps. Bad ones. Nice try, Jackie said, ripping the covers off me. Mom and Dad are already downstairs. Everyone goes to the solstice ball. It's about pack unity. If the beta's daughter doesn't show, it looks like dissent. I don't have a dress, I tried, grasping at straws. Yes, you do. Mom bought you one. It's sensible. Jackie smirked, a cruel glint in her eyes. She tossed a garment bag onto my bed. Get up. We leave in 2 hours. I unzipped the bag. It was a dress, technically. A shapeless, beige chiffon number that looked like something a grandmother would wear to a funeral. It had high sleeves and a neckline that reached my collarbone. Great, I muttered. I'm going as a potato sack. Ugly, my wolf agreed, sniffing the fabric with disdain. Does not show off our curves. Mate will not like. Good, I told her. If mate doesn't look, we survive. I got ready with mechanical precision. I pulled my hair into a severe bun, applied minimal makeup, and doused myself in the last of the blocker spray. When I put on the dress, I looked in the mirror and wanted to cry. I disappeared inside the fabric. I looked plain, forgettable, perfect.
When I walked downstairs, my father nodded in approval. Very appropriate journey. Modest. Jackie, meanwhile, was a vision. She wore a shimmering emerald gown with a slit up to her thigh and a neckline that plunged dangerously low. She looked like a goddess. She looked like a Luna. Let's go, she said, checking her reflection in the hall mirror one last time. Aiden is meeting us at the door. He's greeting the high-ranking families. My stomach turned over. Meeting at the door. I had to walk past him. The drive to the Alpha's estate was silent. The estate was a massive stone mansion deep in the woods, glowing with golden light. Cars were lined up along the driveway, disgorging wolves in finery. We got out. The cold air bit at my exposed ankles. Shoulders back, Journey, my mother hissed. Smile. We approached the massive double doors, and there he was. Aiden stood next to his father, Alpha Stone. He wore a black tuxedo that fit him perfectly, emphasizing the breadth of his shoulders. His hair was tamed, but a few strands fell over his forehead. He looked lethal and beautiful. He was shaking hands, smiling that polished, political smile. Beta, Aiden greeted my father, shaking his hand. Good to see you. Aiden, my father replied warmly. Then Aiden turned to Jackie. His smile widened, practiced and charming. You look stunning, Jack. Thanks, babe, she purred, leaning in to kiss his cheek. She lingered there, marking him with her scent. Then Aiden looked at me. His smile dropped. His eyes swept over the beige dress, the tight bun, the lack of jewellery. He looked bored, dismissive. Journey, he said flatly. Aiden, I whispered, keeping my eyes on his tie. I started to move past him, desperate to get inside the crowded ballroom where I could hide. But as I passed, a gust of wind blew through the open doors. It carried my scent, vanilla and fear, directly to him. But the wind was strong. It swirled around us, and for just a second, the blocker spray faltered. Aiden stiffened. His head snapped toward me, his nostrils flaring. His hand shot out, catching my elbow. The contact sent a jolt of electricity through me, so strong my knees buckled. I gasped. Aiden's eyes went wide, his pupils dilating until the grey was almost swallowed by black. Journey, he whispered, his voice strained. Let go, I hissed, pulling my arm back. You're wrinkling the chiffon. I ripped my arm free and bolted into the ballroom, disappearing into the sea of dancing wolves. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would crack my ribs. He felt it. My wolf howled in triumph. He touched us. I grabbed a glass of punch from a passing waiter and downed it in one gulp. I wasn't safe. The beige dress hadn't worked. The blockers were failing. And I was trapped in a room with 500 wolves, and the one man who was determined to hunt me down. Chapter 5. The Waltz of Lies. I tried to blend in with the drapes. It was a decent strategy, considering my dress was roughly the same shade of beige as the heavy velvet curtains lining the east wall. "You look like you're trying to camouflage," Nia said, appearing beside me with 2 plates of hors d'oeuvres. She was wearing a cute purple cocktail dress that clashed beautifully with her wild hair. "Here, stress eating helps." I took a mini quiche, my hands still trembling. "He touched me, Nia. He felt the spark. I saw his eyes dilate." Nia choked on a cracker. "What? When?" "At the door. He grabbed my arm." I rubbed the spot, which still felt warm, tingling under the scratchy chiffon. "He knows something is wrong. He looked at me like I was a puzzle he wanted to smash." "Okay, don't panic," Nia said, though she looked panicked. "It's crowded in here. Just taking out of his line of sight. Maybe he'll think it was static, or the punch." I scanned the room. It was a glittering sea of Pack elite, and there, near the centre, holding court, was Jackie. She was laughing, her hand resting possessively on Aiden's chest. Aiden wasn't laughing. He was scanning the room. His gaze moved systematically, dissecting the crowd, searching. "He's looking for me," I whispered. "No, he's just looking around," Nia tried to reassure me. "Oh no. Oh, crap." "What?" The expecting stopped playing. Alpha Stone stepped up to the microphone on the small stage. "Welcome, Ironwood Pack," he boomed. "Tonight, we celebrate the winter solstice, and, as is tradition, we begin with the harmony dance." Oh, I groaned. No, 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 no.
The shadows are lengthening. That is the end of this chapter.
Can't wait to see what happens next. You don't have to. Download the full, uninterrupted story right now at the link below. Otherwise, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Sweet nightmares.